Have you ever wondered what happens to the stars when the spotlight fades? It's a harsh reality, and that fame doesn't always equal fortune. And many beloved actors faced financial ruin before their final days. Uh, and let's explore the stories of those who, despite their talent and success, struggled to maintain their wealth. Uh, Judy Garland captivated audiences in classics like The Wizard of Oz, but behind the curtain, studio contracts limited her control over earnings. Years of medical bills, legal fees, and divorces created mounting debt. She tirelessly toured and appeared on television, often accepting lower fees just to stay afloat, but her estate remained burdened when she passed in 1969. Bela Lugosi became synonymous with Dracula, yet he was trapped by typecasting in low-paying horror roles. Unlike today, residuals weren't a common practice, so early hits didn't provide lasting income. Um, like Health problems and addiction treatment added to his financial strain, leaving him with modest means when he died in 1956. Veronica Lake's radiant, beauty graced films like Sullivan's Travels, but as industry tastes shifted, her demand dwindled. Faced with divorce costs and a stalled career, she took on non-acting jobs, even working in restaurants to make ends meet. Attempts at a comeback through stage work and a memoir offered limited returns before her death in 1973. John Barrymore was a celebrated star of stage and screen, known for Grand Hotel. However, an expensive lifestyle and inconsistent work led to mounting debts. He was forced to take lower paying projects and borrow against future earnings. When he died in 1942, uh, creditors had consumed much of his former wealth because Hedy Lamarr was a stunning actress in films like Samson and Delilah, but she earned far less than her box office draw deserved. Uh, she spent heavily on real estate and legal battles, and despite pioneering spread spectrum technology, she never saw a significant payout. Arrests and lawsuits only added to her financial woes. Uh, uh, Before her death in 2000, uh, Sammy Davis Jr. was a multi-talented entertainer, earning vast sums from films, tours, and Vegas residencies. Uh, However, high living, manager disputes, and large tax liabilities accumulated over the years. He sold assets and performed despite illness to address his debts. But substantial tax bills remained when he passed in 1990. Gary Coleman became a household name on different strokes. But most of his early income was controlled by adults and managers. Uh, he filed for bankruptcy and took on assorted jobs to cover uh, expenses before his death in 2010. Dana Plato's post-different strokes years were marked by sporadic roles and rising bills, legal troubles, including a widely reported robbery case, added fines and defense costs. She declared bankruptcy and tried reality TV and small projects to stabilize income, but struggled with financial hardship and health challenges before her death in 1999. Corey Haim's early success in films like The Lost Boys faded as opportunities dwindled. He faced high medical and living expenses, filed for bankruptcy, and tried direct-to-video work and conventions to earn income. Tax issues and medical costs continued to pressure his finances. Before his death in 2010, Margot Kidder, best known as Lois Lane in Superman, faced long periods of limited work and mounting medical expenses. A well-documented breakdown left her without stable housing and facing treatment costs for she rebuilt with independent projects and speaking engagements, but never recaptured her earlier earnings before her death in 2018. Mickey Rooney was a top box office draw in classics like Babes in Arms, but years of divorces, bad investments, and mismanagement eroded his earnings. He filed for bankruptcy more than once and testified publicly about financial exploitation and elder abuse. He relied on smaller roles and appearances to meet expenses before his death in 2014. Dorothy Dandridge broke barriers with Carmen Jones, but faced restricted casting that limited her income, divorce settlements, business disputes, and unpaid taxes mounted as roles dried up. She sold property and sought nightclub bookings to cover bills before her death in 1965. Roscoe Fatty Arbuckle's silent era success collapsed after a scandal, despite his full acquittal. Widdish collapse, legal fees, and canceled contracts wiped out much of his wealth. He attempted behind the camera work and small performances under a pseudonym, but died in 1933 before a full recovery. Gene Seberg's international acclaim from Breathless didn't translate to consistent work in the US surveillance, and damaging press cut into her career prospects. And legal costs added pressure. She moved frequently between Europe and the US seeking work, but struggled to secure consistent income before her death in 1979. Peter Lorre's early fame from M and the Maltese Falcon didn't guarantee sustained earnings. Post-war relocations and health issues added medical costs. He took character parts at modest pay and occasional stage engagements to cover obligations before his death in 1964. So what do you think? And it's a sobering reminder that even in the glamorous world of Hollywood, financial security isn't guaranteed, that it's very share the names and stories you think belong on this list in the comments so we can keep the conversation going. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time,